Alright, I got my drift trike parts here. I got some wheels. These were $16 off of BMI's website. BMI carts, that is. The tires were like 30 some odd. I go to Napa, pick up some Schrader valves. They're cheap as shit. They're a pain in the ass to mount these wheels. Takes 0.40 max kg, which is about 55 psi. I filled them up to 30 something. We'll see if that works for now. And then I'll get the sleeves and everything for them after everything's working. But came with a rear sprocket, hub adapter. That hub mounts to this guy. We got 2 axle nuts. We got 4 of these stoppers. You put these there, and then like the wheel can't back off any further. 2 pillow blocks. Key shaft. I'm gonna have to cut it for everything. I'm probably not gonna use these other 2. Well, it's just a wrench ahead. Splined axle. Well, not splined. Keyed axle. I bought this off Amazon, just a twist throttle. Got this motor plate. That was separate. And so the motor plate was like $6. I got that with the wheels and tires. The rest of this, the clutch and all, came on the other kit. I got it off eBay. It was like 170, 60 bucks, something like that. I got the clutch, I cut the key that came with the motor and just got it in there, and then there's little set screws. I got that on there. Supposedly this takes a 5/16, but I have coarse, and I think it takes the fine thread, that is. What I'm doing is I'm just going to try to assemble some of the axle, measure up distances, and figure out where I want everything, so then I can measure the width of the rear subframe that I'm going to build for this. Alright, I got this hub going nice and tight. Cut the fuck out of my fingers when a wrench slipped off the back. These are 11s on the back. The hardware is kind of janky, a little cheap. It is what it is. You're going to need a good set of standard and metric Allen keys to do this if you're going to plan to keep these hardware. Setting this up, there's a lot more threads inside the wheel, but I think it'll be alright. Plus, I didn't crank the wheel down super tight, but I just slid this in place just to tighten that up, just so I get the spacing correct on where everything I want. So just tightened it in there, and then I'm gonna pull this wheel back off, crank that down tighter because I can't really get in there with the Allen key. Then I'm gonna slide all this stuff on there, the pillow blocks, the sprocket, and then I'll set up. These will go on either side of the sprocket. I'll show you that. Like there'll be this, and then there'll be 2 of these, so it can't slide back and forth. And you don't want to tighten these up because you'll mar it, and it'll be harder for these to slide on. So if there's a big scratch or dent in there, it'll be really hard for it to slide on. So you'll wait till everything's mocked up for that, but it's nice just to have it on there for now. And then get that, and then we'll try and measure an even distance for these so the axle have the same offset on either end, and then I can start making up a rear subframe. Alright, I kind of just started attacking things. Built a subframe, just a square thing. I just angled it, angle cuts, and just welded it. Had the axle assembled how I wanted it. Had the sprocket just loose, and set it on there and measured 3 inches because I figured that'd be a good spot so I have room for the motor to sit. And so I measured 3 inches there, 3 inches there, C-clamped it, drilled it, bolted it down. Then I mounted the seat, as you see, and there's just 2 bolts there. It's just mounted through that bar. So then I figured out where I wanted everything. The axle was mounted, it was rolling. So then I saw the sprocket sat into this channel right here on the seat pretty good, so I tapped it over that way. Tighten these collars down on either end of it. Same as these collars here. It's a stop for the wheel, so on each side of the sprocket so the sprocket can't move. And then I had a motor plate that I showed before, and I kind of eyeballed it, put the chain across the clutches and everything like that, and it was fine where it was. So then I put the motor plate in there, pulled the motor back off, welded it along both sides on the bottom, set the motor back on there. I measured how long I wanted the chain. I had the motor push all the way forward, and then I ground down one of these links there, took a punch, shoved the link through, and then you have the master link you just put together in just a clip. So then that was there. So I was sitting on it, and it made me completely nervous like this. So I just had an old piece of hood laying around, and I just made a quick chain guard for it. So then now that we had the motor and everything in there, I tried taking it for a drive. I have no throttle cable, and I know where to support my legs, and I almost ate it. So what I did was just cut a piece of metal 26 inches, then the little legs are 5 inches, and just welded that in full all the way around. All the welds are solid, and that's where I'm at now. Pretty simple. A lot of grinding. If I had a chop saw, I'd probably fly right through this. Throttle cable is 50 inches. Not nearly long enough. So I had to figure something out. The wheel, if you steer it more than that, that's useless. Anything more than that, it won't turn at all. Motor started first pull. Fuel is off right now, but it runs great. I love this little motor already. And just touching the throttle cable, it's snappy and it's fast. I don't even have a bolt on the clutch yet, but there is these two set screws in there holding it on. So I need to get a bolt for that tomorrow. It's I think it's 5/16, but I need to get the right pitch. Mine is coarseness is the fine, but that's where we are at right now. It has a little bit of wiggle to it. I might add a support from here to there, and then if it still needs it, I gusseted, because this is just square tube straight here and it's welded full around, and then I took short sections. They were 6 inches, and I just went from like there to there, but over here both sides. I might need to run longer ones, go from like this corner here to from there somewhere to over here, and that would really stiffen the whole thing up. You can see it has a little flex to it, but that's where we're at. Not done, but it's almost ratable. Get a throttle cable. Probably gonna have to figure out a better brake situation, because this thing's gonna move and that bike brake is pretty shitty.